It's time to own your value. It's time to make more money in your career. It's time for the raise. It's time for the promotion. It's time for the new title. It's time to start taking on more clients. It's time to raise your rates. You know it, but you're dealing with some self-doubt around it. Most women struggle to negotiate for the pay they desire because they underestimate their abilities and their value. In today's episode, I am sharing my process for assessing my own readiness and building confidence in my ability to charge, receive more, and perform at a quote unquote higher level than ever before. Surprise, you're probably already doing the work that you want to be doing without getting paid for it. Let's shift that, shall we? Right now, you're listening to Naked and Noisy, Manifestation Tools for the Professional Woman. I'm Natalie Hughes, your host and your coach in this series. In each episode, I'm giving you the tools that you need to create the life you've always dreamed of without the soul-crushing sacrifice that you were taught to endure. Whether you're ready to be treated like the industry leader that you are, you're ready to be drunk in love with your soulmate, or you're ready to wake up to a closet full of Jimmy Choo every morning, this is the podcast for you. Hello, Miranda. Welcome back to the Naked and Noisy podcast. From this moment forward, like from this episode forward, I will be referring to you as Miranda. And it is a reference to the very popular television series, I Know Who You Are. I know what you are, Miranda, my listener. You are a professional woman. You're an ambitious woman. You're a self-led woman. You're a woman who wants it all without the sacrifice. I know who you are. I know what you are. I've got your number. So we're just going to take everything that I know about you and we're going to put it all under one name, one person, one persona, and that's going to be Miranda. You got it. I got it. We've got it. Let's get into today's episode. Today, we're talking about how to know and how to be confident in the fact that you're ready for that raise, you're ready for that promotion, you're ready to make more money at your company. If you're an entrepreneur, you're ready to charge more, you're ready to sell more, you're ready to get your offer, your service, your product out there to more people. How can you be confident in the value that you have to offer, in the value that you have to offer in your industry, in your company, in your career, to your community, et cetera, et cetera. This one is so incredibly good. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you to do is take the pedestal off. Take the pedestal off. Yes, let me rephrase that. Take the position, the money, the income off of its pedestal. Don't make it a big deal. I'm going to use an example that I just thought of while I was planning today's episode. For me, my example will be working with celebrities. I'm not open for personal one-on-one coaching, but when I do decide to open up for personal one-on-one coaching, it will probably be, most likely, be exclusively for celebrities in the entertainment industry, just because I really love music and movies and that's what I desire to do, right? So let's say one of my goals is to work with Beyonce or to work with Taraji P. Henson, right? First thing I'm going to do as we move through this exercise, we're jumping right into it. I got to take them off of that pedestal. It can't be, oh my God, Beyonce, the woman who saved my life. I listen to your music all the time when I'm getting into the vibe of success, but also when I'm feeling sad and depressed, I'm feeling heartbroken, I'm feeling like things aren't working out for me. I always listen to your music. And the song specifically, Me, Myself, and I, is the song that got me through so much heartbreak and so much pain throughout my first like 3 years of business and also being a young woman. And you're such a huge inspiration. You've got to take Beyonce off of the pedestal. You cannot do that. And it's like, after the exercise is over, if you'd like to, you can put them back on the pedestal, right? But you gotta take the pedestal off. You can't, I'm saying you can't, but not like, there's not like a GUN to your head. Like you're not gonna get in trouble if you don't do this. But for all intents and purposes, you gotta take that shit off the pedestal. Because you're making it a larger than life thing. It's working with Beyonce. It's working with Taraji. It's working with these women who I have seen on the big screen. It's working with these people who I admire and who I look up to. And it's such a big deal because it's Hollywood and blah, 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 blah. And when you're doing that, what are you doing? You're putting this pressure. You're making it larger than life. You're making it this thing that's like possibly harder to obtain, harder to receive. You're making it more difficult on yourself because you're putting this shit up on a pedestal. So you're just going to take it off of that pedestal, right? So for you, Miranda, it doesn't matter that this is the position that you've been wanting in the company since you started working there 800 million years ago. It does not matter that this is the amount of money that you have had on your vision board since XYZ amount of time. It's the amount of money that you always wanted to make. It's the position you've always wanted to be in. Your mentor worked at this position and did this kind of work. And if you were to get that job, then you'd be working closely with your mentor. And it's like, whoa, am I ready to work that closely with my mentor? Am I on the same level as my mentor yet? It's like you can make it so much more complex and you can start creating those rules for yourself, those stories that you're telling, rooted in the story that you're not good enough, right? Rooted in the story that there's certain requirements that you have to meet. Those stories that you've been telling yourself, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, those stories that you've been telling yourself can start to show themselves when you get into that whole pedestal thing. Am I ready to be at the same level as my mentors? Am I ready to make that much money? Am I ready to have that much success? I just got into this career XYZ years ago. I'm quote unquote a rookie. And you know that I have to pause to put the rap verse in there. I can't say the word rookie and not say. So let me get this straight. Wait, I'm the rookie, but my features and my shows 10 times your pay? 50K for a verse, no album out? Okay. We're done. Miranda, I feel like, are you a Nicki Minaj fan? No, we're not going to get into the politics right now. Everybody, let's breathe and let's get back on track. So those limiting beliefs and thoughts come up. I'm a rookie. I'm quote unquote new here. I've only been doing this work for XYZ amount of years. Am I ready to make that amount of money? Am I ready to do that kind of work? Am I ready to work alongside people like this person and this person and this person trained me and this person I've been looking up to for so long? Can I really possibly do that work, right? Those limiting beliefs get triggered because you've made that position a big, huge deal. Like you've got to be the best person ever in the world, in the company, to make that amount of money or to hold that position. And it's not true. So what we're going to do for this exercise is we're going to take that pedestal off of it. We're going to take that pedestal off of it. I'm going to give one more example and then we're going to move forward with the process. I'm doing more like activist work in my community right now, except I haven't done everything that I know to do. I haven't taken every step that I need to take because the limiting beliefs and thoughts in my mind have been, how are you going to do this work? How are you going to change XYZ different thing going on in your community? And you don't have a college degree in this, and you don't have this, and blah, 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 blah. And how is this organization of this amazing, social justice activist icon, how are they going to take you seriously and blah, 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 right? The pedestals can trigger all of those beliefs. And of course you can shift those beliefs and shift those thoughts. But for this exercise, we're jumping right over it. Take the pedestal off. Take it off the pedestal. I don't know why I keep saying it in that way, but it doesn't matter because you understand what the hell I'm saying. Don't you, Miranda? Thank you. So you're going to take the shit off the pedestal, right? And the question you're going to ask yourself, once you've taken this off the pedestal, which by take it off the pedestal, I just mean I'm not going to make this a big deal. I'm going to ignore the fact that you're Beyonce. I'm going to ignore the fact that you're Taraji. I'm going to ignore the fact that you're a civil rights icon. I'm going to ignore the fact that this is one of the biggest school districts in California, or maybe the biggest school district in California. I'm going to ignore that fact. I'm going to take this shit off of the pedestal. And then I'm going to ask myself this question. And the question that you're going to ask yourself is, if you could be the boss for the day, if you could be in that position for the day, do you know what you would do? Do you know what you would do? Do you know what you would change? I know that you, Miranda, are ready for the raise. I know that you're ready to make more money. I know that you're ready to be in that position because you're silently judging everybody else. It doesn't have to be like a harsh judgment. It doesn't have to be like a harsh criticism. It's not that you're condemning them, but you might be. But on some level, you're judging these people. You're judging the people in that position. You're judging how they run things. You're judging what they do. You're judging the way that they create agendas for meetings. You're judging the time that you have meetings. You're judging the different types of people who are being called in for the different types of meetings. You're judging the way that the meetings are run. You're judging the way that the projects are being proposed. You're judging it. If you could be the boss for the day, there are some changes that you would make, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a coach like me. If you could be all up in their mind, like the Beyonce song, if you could control your client's mindset, you know exactly what you would be thinking if you were them, right? You know exactly what you would be doing. You know exactly what action you would be taking. If you could control the office, if you could control your client's mindset and habits, do you have a plan? And you may, or you may not have a plan already popping up in your mind. Well, yeah, I'm actually so glad that you've asked, because I've been waiting to talk about how I would run this office for a hot fucking minute. I know exactly what I would do, right? It's like that song from that musical whose name is leaving me right now. The name of the musical is leaving me. The title of the song is 96,000. It's a Lin-Manuel Miranda musical. They're singing, if I won the lotto tomorrow. Well, I know I wouldn't bother going on a spending spree. I'd pick a business school and pay the entrance fee. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll stay friends with me. If you could be the boss for a day, are you like, I know exactly what I would do. I know exactly how I would run this office. I know exactly how I would handle those clients. I know exactly how I would support those clients. I know exactly how I would help them. I know exactly how I would support them. And maybe you don't have that exact plan in place, but you probably do have some judgmental thoughts. And yeah, we'll say that, judgmental thoughts. Just things that you've observed. Because I know you, Miranda, you're an observant person. You're an observant person. So what are you going to do? You're going to naturally notice the shit that could just be a little bit more efficient, or maybe a lot more efficient. If you're having a conversation with another person and you're hearing them talk about things that are going wrong, you're hearing them talk about their problems, and in your mind, you're going, oh, well, you could do this, and you could do this, and you could do this, and I know exactly what's going on here. Let me give you an example. I watched Beyonce's movie that came out recently, the Renaissance film. I love it. There's a poster of it that you got at the movies, and it's behind me in my office space. I love the movie. I love Beyonce. So I watched the Renaissance movie, and at this one point in the movie, you maybe saw it, Miranda. At one point in the movie, she has a moment where she's trying to get these lights, or it's a camera lens. She's like, I want a camera lens that has more of a fisheye, blah, 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 blah. Can we get like a 50 millimeter, da, 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 da. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? I'm just making shit up, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with the camera lens, right? So she's having a conversation with this guy. We need to get a camera lens like this and this and this. The guy's like, camera lens like that doesn't exist. Camera lens like that isn't available. And Beyonce goes, well, actually, I looked it up. I know that it's available. And then in the next scene, she's talking about her experience. And she says her experience as a Black woman is one where she often spends her time pushing back and forth, experiencing this struggle, and people only give in or give up when they realize, she says, this bitch isn't going to quit. I think that's what she says. And a lot of women around the world went online and were like, wow, like I can't believe Beyonce also deals with this. I also deal with this. It was a great moment of relatability. I observed watching the movie that's a paradigm that Beyonce is living in. That's a limiting belief that Beyonce has. And it's a limiting belief. It's a paradigm that a lot, we could even argue a majority of Black women and women live in. The paradigm, the story, the reality, some people call it the timeline, where they're not respected, not listened to, not heard, not taken seriously, where when they want things to go their way, they've got to fight harder. They've got to really advocate for themselves. What's that popular phrase that was introduced to me on, like, what was that TV show? The TV show with Kerry Washington. Is that her name, girl? What is that? She plays the character Olivia Pope. What is the name of that television show? Whatever, girl. It's the one where she plays Olivia Pope. And inside of the television show, she's talking about her experience as a Black woman. She says she has to be twice as good to get half as much. And that's not exactly the same limiting belief, but it's almost like they can be grouped together. If we're having an experience, if we're having a label that could describe a majority of Black women's experience, being undermined, being intentionally misunderstood, being given the runaround, not being respected, not being heard, not being listened to. That's a paradigm. In other words, that's optional. So I watched that movie and I watched that scene and I watched that moment and I acknowledged that that's a limiting belief. So if I could be all up in her mind, if I could be the boss of Beyonce's mindset for a day, I know exactly what I would do dealing with that experience. I know exactly how I would handle that. I know exactly how I would move through that. I know exactly how I would look at childhood. I would look at generational stuff, probably something that she picked up watching her mom, grandmother, women in her life, how they were treated and taken care of. Maybe did her dad have that experience? Maybe her dad didn't have that kind of experience. Maybe there's a hang up there. And that's just based off of my observation, but that's the direction that I would start going in. And I would get to the root and I would shift it and I would move through it and I would start building out a belief. And by the end of that day, and if I could be the queen of Beyonce's mind, if I could be all up in her mind for a month, which I know sounds so silly, but I'm talking like well, for all intents and purposes, yes, this is what I'm talking about, but I don't actually mean if I could mind control Beyonce, obviously, I feel like you understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, if I had a month of Beyonce's mind, if I had a month of Beyonce's focus, by the end of that month, we're building out a whole new belief system for how she gets to be treated and respected. And we see this as, and this is just my observation. Do I say allegedly here? This is just my observation. We see it at award shows like the Grammys. Twice as good. Half the recognition. Why does this lady not have album of the year? Everybody be so fucking serious and for real. What story is Beyonce telling herself about who she is and what she gets to have and how she gets to be treated that's being reflected back to her in these moments? And if she had my tools, if she had the 6 steps from stuck to self-aware, and if she had the receiver's mindset, if I could be all up in her mind, I'd get that shit cleared out quickly. And then what happens? She'd be attracting in people who were ready, willing, and eager to work with her. She'd be a vibrational match to people who are interested in, and this is something that she would, create. This is a belief system that I would build out. She'd be a vibrational match to people who are ready, willing, and eager to support her in having an experience, putting on tours, putting together music, whatever it is. She would have an experience that would actually support her in putting on the shows that she wants with significantly more ease. It'd be a more enjoyable experience. She puts on these incredibly amazing, intricate shows, like the stages in and of themselves are pieces of art. With the receiver's mindset, with these mindset tools, this process of making amazing, life-changing art, it would be significantly easier. It would be a much more enjoyable experience. What would that concert be like? What would that experience be like to attend? That would change the entire vibrational undercurrent of the concert in and of itself. It would be a difference. You would feel it when you went to the concert if you were a sensitive person like I am. Maybe it would be a huge significant difference. It would probably definitely be a huge significant improvement for Beyonce, her mental and emotional, psychological, spiritual well-being going on tour. We might get more Beyonce tours more consistently if she had an even more supportive belief system. Beyonce, the billionaire with limiting beliefs. I love this game. Beyonce, for you, special fee, $1 million. Okay, seriously. That's my example. Taraji P. Henson, very similar. What are your beliefs about what it means to be a Black woman? What are your beliefs about what it means to receive? Why you can't receive? Just because you have the talent, just because you're seen, doesn't mean that your receiver's mindset changes because you receive fame. I received maybe not Taraji P. Henson levels of fame, but I grew, and I'm so sorry if you hear clattering and things like that. I am my mother's daughter, so she's also a very loud woman, and she's across the fucking house in the kitchen. But you might be able to hear it on the phone. I don't think you can. I think the microphone is good. Let me refocus. So I grew my YouTube channel to 20, I think I got like 23,000 subscribers before I deleted that YouTube channel. 1,000,001 different reasons. We don't need to talk about it. But I was so frustrated because I'm like tens of thousands of subscribers and I'm not making the amount of money that I want to make, and I'm not receiving what I want to receive, and I'm not getting the views that I want to get. And I felt so discouraged. I thought that just being seen and getting the subscribers, like, I thought that was it. I thought I did the thing I needed to do. Where the fuck is the money? Where are the sales? Where are the income? Where is the income? I didn't understand that my mindset, my lack of self-esteem, my low self-esteem. I did not have the receiver's mindset. I had a blocked off mindset. I had a closed off mindset. I felt guilty receiving, greedy receiving, bad receiving, unworthy, undeserving, not good enough, not valuable, not worthy of being taken seriously. Lord, we have come a long way in 5 years. Amen. Hallelujah. So I can have a conversation with myself where, doesn't it just seem obvious that I should be working with celebrities? Doesn't it just seem obvious that I should be working with Beyonce? And here's the thing. At any given moment in time, this is a mindset thing, right? At any given moment in time, you can say, no, it's not obvious. At any given moment in time, you can take that as an opportunity to argue for your limitations. And the only person that you're hurting is yourself, because I'm not doing that. That's good enough for me. I know exactly how I could help Beyonce to have amazing world tours that are significantly better feeling for herself, her mind, her body, her spirit, her soul. She'd be having a better experience on tour. I could also absolutely help and support her having a better experience on tour and being a mother at the same time. What does balance look like for her? Because when you have those limiting beliefs, you got the limiting belief that I can't have it all. You got the limiting belief that I have to sacrifice family for my career. And that's not exactly true. And there's a million nuances and different things in that, and a million different directions that I could go when it comes to that with Beyonce personally, with anyone. Because it turns out I know my shit. Not just focusing on Beyonce, not just focusing on Taraji and how I would help them and how I would support them. How many people in my life did I cut off? Because their life was just drama, 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 drama. And I'm sitting here judging these people, not condemning them to hell, but judging these people. Because ex-friend of mine is having a conversation talking about physical intimacy. And I got this podcast sharing it to YouTube, and I don't know how long that's going to last because I need to be able to be rated R up in this bitch. I don't know how many episodes y'all are going to get from me on YouTube. We'll see. We'll see. We'll give it a couple weeks and see what we need to see, okay? Anyway, I had a friend who spoke very openly about physical intimacy in front of her toddler. And what she didn't understand is that kind of trauma doesn't just happen because it doesn't just happen in the event of somebody directly doing those horrible, terrible things to you as a child. Exposure to those explicit themes way too early in your life is a traumatizing event. So I had this friend whose mindset and energy and beliefs were just a million different types of fucked up. And I ended the relationship because I was just like, I can't handle this. I can't with this. I can't spend my time around someone who trash talks their baby father in front of their child. Why? Because I understand the emotional and mental consequences of that because I lived it and she lived it too. She just doesn't have self-awareness of how negatively that's impacting her. I don't have friendships with people who endanger their children. And I mean on a mental, emotional, psychological, and spiritual level. And that's just how I live. And that's just who I am. So instead of looking at those instances and looking at those experiences and being like, hold on, let me start that sentence again. The way that I choose, in alignment with this exercise, to look at those instances, I choose to look at that from the lens of, I know exactly what I would do differently. I know exactly what I would heal. I know exactly what I would shift. I know exactly what I would move through because I understand that this toddler, this little girl is not just going to grow up having a fucked up relationship with her father. She's going to grow up having a fucked up relationship with herself. Because your baby daddy is half of her. So her sense of self and her sense of self-worth is being fucked up because you're emotionally immature. Somebody who neglects themselves emotionally, somebody who doesn't want to process the pain and the trauma that you experienced in that relationship. It's very unfortunate. What I love about the situation is that I know exactly what I would do. I know exactly what I would look at. I know exactly what I would move through. I know exactly what I would shift. I know exactly what I would heal. I know exactly why I would heal it. And I know exactly what the consequences of healing that would be. I know how it would positively impact that child. I know how it would positively impact the mental and emotional state of that woman, mother, previous friend. Of course, the quality of your life is drastically improved when your time is not spent on the ways that your baby's father neglects your baby. Oh, we don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time. No. I have to tell myself sometimes no to going on a tangent right now. No to going off right now. what I said was like a tip of the iceberg type thing. We don't have time to get into it. And that's another reason that I know I'm damn good at my job. Because I could take that in a million different directions, and I could talk about that for hours. Somebody who has no idea about anything when it comes to mindset, somebody who has no idea about anything when it comes to, maybe I would say, developmental psychology, somebody who has no idea about anything when it comes to energy, somebody who has no idea about anything when it comes to manifestation. They would not be making those observations, they would not be coming to those conclusions, and they would not know how to fix it. But I do. Somebody who has no idea how to identify limiting beliefs could have saw that Beyonce, movie, and maybe they related to it, maybe they didn't relate to it, but they wouldn't know how to fix it. They wouldn't know how to change it. They wouldn't know how to make it better. Give me an hour with Beyonce, and I would make significant motherfucking progress. Period, point blank. No doubt in my mind. Take the pedestal off. Take the money and the status and the fame and the success and all of that away. Just me and you, woman to woman, human being to human being. 1 hour with me, I could absolutely change your fucking life. Give me a month, you'll never be the same. Like, period, point blank. That's value. You think the woman, I'm sorry, I hit the mic. I'm a hand talker. Miranda, if you're new here. My name is Natalie Hughes and I'm a hand talker. The woman who can support Beyonce in having stress-free, I wouldn't even say stress-free, I would say enjoyable, I would say emotionally fulfilling, easeful world tours. That woman, buying a course from that woman, how much do you think that woman makes? How much do you think that woman is worthy of being paid? That's tremendous value. The woman who can help Taraji P. Henson actually build, create, and establish wealth through her artistry as an amazing actress? Are you kidding me? Not just help and support her to make more money, but this is about owning your value, being confident in your value. How much do you think that the woman who can support Taraji P. Henson in owning her value, being confident in her value, not just confident in her value in a way to say it's wrong that I'm not making this much money, but so confident in her value, confident in her power as a co-creator that she can say, I know that I deserve to make more money and I expect to make more money. Not in one of those like emotionally manipulative, business strategies when you're talking to someone, stare in the middle of their forehead so it makes them uncomfortable. I don't even know what people give that advice for, but not in one of those ways, not in one of those, oh, I'm going to ask you for 300 million when really I just want 150 million. So that way the price that I'm asking next is like, you know what I'm saying? I can't even come up with great examples for it because obviously that's not how I live. I'm not talking about owning your value and expecting money in that way. I'm talking about you set a goal. I want to make XYZ amount of money per movie after taxes, after the bills, after I've paid all of the people on my team. This is how much money I want in my pocket. This is how much money I'm investing. This is how much money is going into XYZ different account for XYZ different thing. This is how much money I'm putting away for my kids or whatever that is. Setting those goals, knowing that that's yours and experiencing that. That's what I teach you inside of the receiver's mindset, by the way. Because I know that you wanted to know, Miranda. The woman who can help Taraji P. Henson do that I would pay $1,700 to get inside that lady's course. I'd pay $5,000 to get inside that lady's course. I would pay tens of thousands of dollars to be around that woman, to be in her energy. I'd pay hundreds of that. I'd pay millions. I just described to you a skill set. I just described to you value that is worth millions. If Beyonce can put on shows and have a significantly more enjoyable time touring, that could mean more tour dates. That could mean touring more frequently. That could mean even more intricate and elaborate stages and effects and all of that shit. That's making you millions, at least. At least. Please. Like, be serious. And they're not just tools that you would use, they're not just beliefs that you would use for one tour, but just for tours for the rest of your life that you can also use in your other business ventures. I mean, like, seriously, the value doesn't stop. The value of the work that I do does not stop and can be applied to every single aspect of life. So I kind of went on a longer tangent than I anticipated around owning my own value. But that's your hack. That's your tip. That's your trick. That's your tool. Plus your anecdotes. If you could be the boss, do you know what you would do? Do you know what you would change? Do you know what you would do differently? If you had that higher position, if you were making that next level of money, if you had that client right in front of you, do you hear, if you're a coach like me, do you hear horror stories of women, people, human beings in XYZ industry or niche, whatever that you work in? Do you think to yourself, oh, I know exactly what I would do here. I know exactly how I would change that. I know exactly how I would help them with that. I know exactly how I would shift them with that. That's literally how you get clear and build that confidence that you deserve that pay raise, that you deserve that pay increase, that you deserve to make more money, that you deserve to receive now, that you're good enough to work with the clients. Actually have that conversation with yourself about how good enough you are to work with the clients and change the lives, because I'm sure that you are. That's it. Oh, this was excellent, excellent, excellent. If you are listening to this episode, Miranda, you're like, I want exactly what she just said that she would do for Beyonce for me. I want to be able to assess my childhood and life experiences so that I can understand exactly why parts of me feel restricted or even unsafe receiving what I want. If you're listening to this episode and you're like, I want to know how to identify and shift my limiting beliefs. I want to know how to release self-sabotage. I want to know how to release my shame and my guilt and my feelings of unworthiness. You're like, I want to build out my self-worth. I want to build out some strong beliefs that support me in receiving this next level of income, receiving this raise, receiving this promotion that I know I can handle, that I know that I can crush. If you want to learn how I define and use my understanding of value to receive fair compensation, aka desired compensation, for my time, my energy, and my efforts, if you're ready to receive that dream salary, then the Receiver's Mindset course is the place for you. I'm telling you, it is the place for you. Hours of content, filled with exercises. You'll get my 7 steps, repeatable process that you can take to receive anything in your career, in your relationships. It's about manifestation. It's about co-creation. It's about deliberately calling in fulfilling relationships, a fulfilling career, and a fulfilling life. Period, point blank. I highly, highly, highly suggest checking out this life-changing course. You can use the link in my show notes to do so. And with that being said, I will talk to you on Thursday. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you laughed, learned something new, or just loved the time we spent together today, please leave a review of the podcast so that it's easier for the other Mirandas of the world to find it too. And if you want to connect with me between episodes, I highly suggest joining our free Facebook group using the link in the show notes. Love you lots, and I'll see you in the next episode.